The U.S. government is set to release an unclassified report on UFOs maybe as early as next week.
What was once considered a joke is now seen by a lot of people as a genuine national security issue. Ex-government officials are increasingly outspoken about it. Even former President Barack Obama conceded this month there are things that they simply cannot explain.
What is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
Our next guest is the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program at the Pentagon, and here's what he said on 60 Minutes a few weeks ago.
Imagine a technology that can do 600 to 700 G-forces, that can fly at 13,000 miles an hour, that it can evade radar, and that can fly through air and water and possibly space. And oh, by the way, has no obvious signs of propulsion, no wings, no control surfaces, and yet still can defy the natural effects of Earth's gravity. That's precisely what we're seeing.
The Anunnaki are said to be the creators of man. These great gods fled Earth in the ancient past, promising to return someday. Interestingly, most of the creator gods departed Earth and vowed to return someday, according to ancient cultures all around the world. Certain academics and authors believe that the Anunnaki must return to Earth to right what they had done wrong, in order to promote spiritual enlightenment and the growth of human awareness. According to a recent interview with Stan Dale, he stated that NASA and the Pentagon think the Anunnaki will return with the arrival of the planet Nibiru. But wait, do Nibiru, the Anunnaki, and all of this actually exist? The Anunnaki were a group of good and malignant gods and goddesses who came to Earth and eventually formed the human race, according to Sumerian mythology. We must first investigate where the tale originated. Let's get started.
Have you ever wondered why schools teach so little, if anything, about the world's first advanced civilization? Especially when it introduced so many things we still use today. Why the mystery around Sumeria, which was in Mesopotamia and what's now modern-day Iraq? After all, here are just some of what they gave us. The modern calendar, based on lunar cycles, the 60-20 counting system used for geometry and measuring time, the wheel, the plow, irrigation systems like levees and canals, sailboats. They even spoke the first known language. And, most importantly, they left evidence of the first recorded writing. That's a lot of intelligent contributions to humanity. So why aren't we taught more about this clearly advanced and influential civilization? Well, connect the dots and you'll discover why the omission could be deliberate. Sumerians were accurate in creating many advanced systems, yet we dismiss their history of man as mere mythology. And why is that? Well, if we gave the same credibility to their written history as we've given their inventions, we'd be teaching a completely different version of our origins. And we'd be thinking a lot more about what our future may hold. So let archaeologists continue to debate the history and evolution of man. If you go to the source, here's what the first civilization ever to record history revealed about our past. In 1849, a British archaeologist discovered 14 tablets in Sumeria. To date, these are the oldest known writings, and they date back to the 24th century BC. While the stories on them share much of what other ancient writings say, they put a whole new spin on the other ancient sacred texts. You see, while they do refer to a father of all beginnings, or some kind of ultimate supreme being, the tablets say that the creators in Genesis, the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, these were polytheistic gods of ours, otherworldly beings, or just plain out, they were aliens. The entire first two tablets explain who they were and where they were from. Tablet 3 tells of the 6 days of creation, or settlement, on Earth. Later, they explain how the human race was genetically manipulated by these beings and did not evolve randomly. Even the technology Sumerians gave us came from these beings. Are you interested now in knowing more about what the Sumerians had to say about our history? Here are selected legends from the 14 tablets and their parallels with other ancient sources. According to the Sumerian tablets, 445,000 years ago, creator gods, as they call it, came to Earth. The only inhabitants of Earth were wild and undomesticated animals, and early ancestors of man. These beings were called the Anunnaki, which means those who from heaven to earth came. The Anunnaki inhabited a distant orbiting planet called Nibiru, which only entered our solar system every 3,600 years. They described Nibiru as many times the diameter of Earth, and abundant with iron oxide, making its rivers and lakes appear red. Now a side note about Nibiru. According to the tablets, Nibiru's atmosphere began to deteriorate and become a hostile place for life, and in order to restore it, the Anunnaki needed one important element for their atmosphere: gold. Now here are a few interesting facts. There is proof that gold nanoparticles can be used to repair our damaged ozone. It shields radiation, which explains why NASA uses gold foils in their space stations. While NASA is currently aware of 8 official planets in our solar system, there has been much speculation about the wobbly orbit of 2 planets, which points to the likely gravitational pull of a very large mass, which has yet to be discovered. Now, detection of this mass traces back decades, but in October of 2017, NASA published an article called "The Super Earth That Came Home for Dinner," stating, "There are now 5 different lines of observational evidence pointing to the existence of Planet 9. If you were to remove this explanation, and 9 does not exist, then you generate more problems than you solve." Clearly, there is potential of another planet yet to be discovered in our solar system.
You are watching Mystical